So today we are going to do linear inequalities. We've been doing linear equations. An equation has an equal sign in it. An inequality just has a different symbol instead of an equal sign. And there's 4 of them. That's what I have these 4 little boxes here for. Does anyone know one of the symbols that it could be? Like instead of an equals, what else could you have? So greater than or less than? Greater than or equal to, less than, equal to. It doesn't really matter where we put these. I'm going to kind of be organized about it, but that one is your less than. We'll do less than equal to. That just has the little bar underneath. It's half of an equal sign, basically. This one is greater than, and this one is greater than or equal to. And I'm just going to give you a tiny little bit of information about each one of those symbols, and then we'll just do some problems, okay? And you're going to use the calculator for a lot of this. So if you do not have the equal to on it, so that's these two, you will use a dotted line. It's not a solid line. It is a dotted line. If you don't have the equal to, it's a dotted line. What that means is the points on that line don't count. We're not including them. If I say greater than something, I'm not including that number. I need bigger than. Or if I say less than a number, I'm not including that number. I want less than it. So the dotted line shows you don't want those numbers. If you do have the equal to, it's going to be a solid line. So you just need to be careful which one is which. But it's not hard, like everything else in math. It's not hard. You just have to remember to pay attention to it. It's really not about being intelligent. It's about organization and paying attention. Now, if you have one of these two, which these mean less than and less than equal to. Less than means below. So for these two, you are going to shade in below the line. If I say I want less than something, that means below. Like, what is the line in the grocery store where you can have like fewer than 10 items or whatever? Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you need that or fewer. Okay, so below. And for these greater than or equal to, you're going to shade in above the line. So that's like at King's Dominion, you need to be this tall to ride the ride. You have to be this tall or higher. It's this much or above. So you're going to shade above. So like these are very applicable to real life things. I mean, I just threw out a couple examples right there. Needing more than something or needing less than something. Hanging in back there? I didn't even really do too much yet. Are you still good? Okay. So now we're going to do an actual problem. Looking at this one, pretend that was an equal sign. Just pretend that it's an equals. What would you do to get y by itself? Yeah, good. Minus 3x. Good job, everybody. Minus the 3x. Here's the common mistake. When people copy to the next line, they write an equal sign. I totally get why that happens. We're so used to putting equal signs. So try to be really vigilant and remember, it is y is greater than or equal to, good, negative 3x, good, plus 6, perfect. That's the order you want it in. So now we have it in y equals mx plus b, just instead of an equals, you have a different symbol. But now we can go ahead and graph it. Where am I going to start on my graph? 6, count up to 6. That might be on the very edge of the grid. Yeah, right there. It's like on the very edge. And then do your slope. Using words like up, down, left, right, what is our slope of negative 3 telling us to do? Down 3 and over 1. Good. So from that point, you're going to go down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1. If you can count to 3, you can do it. Go all the way to the edge. How many points do I have to plot, Ms. Cole? All of them. Now, here's the only difference between graphing a line and graphing an inequality. 2 things. You have to decide what kind of a line you want, dotted or solid, and then you have to shade above or below. So look at this symbol and what I just explained to you above here. Do we want solid or dotted? Yep, solid. So just connect them, basically like a line. And then are we going to shade above or below is the question. Above. Do you see greater than or equal to? Now, sometimes it's hard to tell if your line's really steep. So here's what I suggest. Pick any point on the line. Like look at the one I'm pointing at. You see this one right here? And just go up from it. Like pick any point, it doesn't matter. If you go up from it, do you see how that's this side? You want this side of the line. What that means is any point in this shaded part is part of the answer. Any point not in the shaded part is not part of the answer. Now, since we have a solid line, do the points on the line count? Yes, they count. We want good. You listened to me. Perfect. You're all doing care now. So these are our choices. All we have to do is say, are these points part of the answer? 4, 3. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I heard somebody say yes already. 4, 3 is right here. Do you see how that's in the shaded part? Yes, we want that one. Just yes or no. -2, 4 would be right here. So no, do you see how it's not in the shaded part? This is I love this lesson. It's very straightforward and easy, and everybody usually gets it. It's very much yes or no. -5, -3 is going to be like down here. So no. And then 3, -3, that's this point right here. We are including that. If it was dotted, we would not include it. All right, let's try it again. This one's less work because it's already in y equals mx plus b, just not an equal sign. Where would we start to plot this? Negative, good. This is going to go so quick and easy. You're all listening to me and paying attention and writing this. Perfect. Gold star for everyone. Now the slope is a little tricky for that one. What's really in 1? Do you see how it's a 1 in front of the x? So from this starting point, you're going to go up 1 over 1. So like basically if you can count to 1, you're good. And then you just have to stop a second and go, hey, what kind of a line do I want? You want dotted. So dotted line like this, like a dashed line. Hey, Miss Cole, I'm writing in pen and I accidentally put a solid line. Just write the word dotted next to it and that's fine. I'll know what you mean. And then are we going to shade above or below? Look, it all comes back to this symbol. Good. It means less than, so below. So that is this side, everything underneath the line. And then we're just going to state yes and no for each one of these points. So what do you think about 5, 3? That might be really close. 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. So 5, 3 is on the line. Why is it no? Because that is tricky, because it's dotted. If it's dotted, you don't count. But good. Do you see how you all cared and you listened to me and then you know what's going on? Perfect. All right, +4, -1. Yes, that's right here. That's in the shaded part. 0, 1 is no. And then 6, 0 is yes. Good job. Now, I always put more on here than we need. It sounds like you guys have kind of got it. I'm just going to pick a few more. Maybe we'll do like 3 more on this side. Okay. I think you'd be okay for that one. I'm going to skip that one. Let's do number 4. Is this in our y equals mx plus b format? No. No. So you have 2 choices. Can you look up here? You can either rearrange it like I've taught you, or you can just put it in the calculator. So I did one where we did the work by hand. Let me show you how this one just goes in the calculator. All I need for you to do is watch. Just watch. Okay? I'm going to type it exactly like it looks. X minus 2y is less than 4. If you needed it to be a less than or equal to, after the less than, you just put an equal sign. That's all you would need to do. All right? What was it? 4? Do you see how it shows up? I'm going to hit the home button. There it is, right there. It does it for you. It even tells you it's dotted, and it even tells you which side to shade. Easy peasy. All right, so let's plot some points. What's a point that I can put on the graph? Yeah, you got 0, -2. How about this one right here? I don't know if I can click right on it, but yeah, 2, -1. And then your slope instinct should kick in. What's the slope of it? Yeah, well, up 1 over 2, so 1/2. So go ahead and plot all your points. You're starting at -2. Your slope is 1/2, up 1 over 2. So I did that. Again, if you can count to 2, you can do it. The calculator even told me it was dotted. So dotted line, and I'll show you the picture again. Which side are we shading? The up side. Follow up. Can anyone give me a point that is part of the answer? It says to give a point that's part of the 0. I am so glad you said that. You go for the easy answer, right? Do you see how 0, 0 is part of the answer? Can anyone give me another one though? Go ahead. Oh, okay. Question. Go ahead. So if you were to do the work and rearrange this, you would end up dividing by I'm so glad you asked that. You would divide by a negative. When you divide by a negative, it flips it around. But you don't have to worry about it because the calculator will do it for you. If you just type this in, it'll spit the answer out at you. You just type it in exactly like it looks. But did you understand her question? Because if you were to rearrange this, here, I'll show you. Will you all pay attention while I show you? You would subtract over the x. It would look like this. And then what would be your other step to get y? Yeah, now when you divide by a negative, the symbol flips around. So this would be 1/2 x minus 2. So, but again, I was trying to save you from doing the work. I was trying to save you the work. If you just type it in, it'll do it for you. So you don't even really need to worry about it. We're just going to try a couple more. All right. Let's do number 5. Do you see how it's just an x? This is your hoi vux. Is it the hoi or is it the vux? Vux. And I'm going to show you this in the calculator too. But what does the V stand for? Okay, don't tune me out. We're almost done. You're going to draw a vertical line at 2. Will it be solid or dotted? Dotted. So at 2, do you see where I drew it? 1, 2. I drew a vertical line. Now for vertical lines, there's not really an above or below. It sort of gets split left and right. But use your common sense. This says less than. So do you think we want the left or the right? If it's less than, yeah, you want all the numbers smaller. But again, if you were like, hey, I didn't quite get that, that confused me, just watch. If you type it in the calculator, look, x less than 2, boom, there's the answer. It does it for you. Oh, so yeah, can you give me a point that's part of the answer? Go ahead. 0, 1 is part of the answer. Can anyone give me another? 0, 0? -3, -3. Good. Those are all part. Can you give me a point that's not part of the answer? 2, 2. That's on the line and it doesn't count because it's dotted. 2, 3, 7, 5, a million. Okay. Numbers go on forever. Now let's just try this one. It's a Y and nothing else. Can you look up here? Is that the hoi or the vux? Hoi. So the H stands for horizontal. We're going to draw a horizontal line at -3. Is it solid or dotted? Solid. So at -3, you're going to put this solid line. And do you want to shade above or below? Above. I think we're okay. This one, would you rearrange this or would you just type it in the calculator? Type it in the calculator because if you make a mistake when you're rearranging it, then it's going to be wrong. Type it in exactly like it looks. It'll tell you the answer. Okay.